Hello, I'm Lisa Clemo. I'm a partner at Churches. I'm head of the family team, chartered legal executive and resolution accredited specialist. I've been practicing for over 25 years now and have been with the firm for approximately 23. A prenuptial agreement is essentially a contract between a couple who are either about to get married or enter into a civil partnership. The purpose of it is to set out what you bring to the relationship by way of assets and what you're hoping to retain should, unfortunately, you separate. Although a prenup doesn't bind the judge when you separate and decide what you're doing with the assets, it is essentially a contract signed by the couple setting out what they brought to the marriage or the civil partnership. So it definitely has its place. It's really good at showing what your pension was before you got married, what your house was, what your business was worth. So it definitely is a good plan as far as marriage planning or planning for your entering into your civil partnership. A prenuptial agreement is essentially a contract, so it sets out the names of the parties, where they live, dates of birth, and then it sets out what they've essentially agreed between the two of them in the event that they separate. So it has its place. It really does help parties to, if you can, separate on amicable terms. So it sets out what they brought to the marriage and what they would like to take out of the marriage should they separate. You do need a solicitor to prepare the document because it's quite difficult if you were Googling on the internet. Most of the documents on there are American versions. I've had some clients prepare their own, so a bit dangerous. You can't replace a professional when it comes to a prenuptial agreement. Given the fact that it's intended if you separate, it sets out clearly what you intend to be divided between the two of you by way of your assets. So having a legal representative is essential. The document would also say on there whether you've had independent legal advice. For it to carry more weight, it is important that both parties are invited to seek legal representation, and usually the document would record who your lawyer is. It's essentially a contract between the two of you. You would go and take legal advice with regards to a prenuptial agreement, so you can disclose it to your lawyer. Usually though, unless you include a confidentiality clause, it can be disclosed. So if you feel very strongly about the privacy with regards to the document, you would want to include that clause within the agreement. The costs do vary. It depends how much money you have, essentially. If you have a straightforward, just one property and some pensions, you may be looking in the region of £800 plus VAT, because it depends on the time spent. If you have complicated finances whereby you may have some business interests, quite a few pensions, shareholding, or inheritance and trusts, then you could creep up to more the region of £3,000, because it does depend on the time spent by the lawyer to prepare it and maybe perhaps even negotiate some of the terms. Family team at Churches are happy to help you should you need advice, whether it be with regards to a prenuptial agreement, a postnuptial agreement, a separation agreement, or even a consent order. These days, most parties are dealing with divorce on their own, but we're happy where you need us. We have a self-help scheme where we can step in and help you at various parts in the proceedings where perhaps you can't afford for us to do everything for you, or you may decide to fully instruct us to help you through the divorce, dissolution, and in respect to your financial claims.